I've sent millions of emails, and I'm going to show you how we use Claude Fable 5 to supercharge our cold email, right? And so I'm going to show you the four things that we use Claude Fable 5 for to just improve our outbound overall, and then show you kind of what that does when you add them all together. So to start, for our infrastructure, we built a custom Claude dashboard to manage the thousands of inboxes that we run from. And the main thing that we do there is we track domain level reply rate. And so a 3% reply rate isn't actually a 3% reply rate. It's the aggregate data of all of the domains and inbox that you have that's showing a 3% reply rate, right? And so you can have a ton of 5%, 10% domains, 10% reply rate domains, and a ton of 1%, 0.01% reply rate domains as well. And so it's good to be able to see if you have a 3% across the board, or if some are overperforming and some are underperforming. And then you can rotate the underperforming ones, which is what we're going to get into here. And so, first off, build a simple Claude system that pulls, right? Claude Code pulls with Instantly's API to build a front end analytics dashboard. If you use Smartly, they also have an API as well. And then I recommend to have 2x at least the infrastructure that you need to run cold email, and then batch rotate them every 2 to 4 weeks. And so we also do this with Claude Code, but you can also just have two different tags and Instantly and then switch them every 2 to 4 weeks. And that keeps your infrastructure safer and lets you warm them like constantly, have them warming then sending, then warming then sending. And then if you want to be extra safe, you can also get another batch, a third batch, or just kind of have this with your second batch, which is your reserve for underperforming domains. So let's say you're at a 3% reply rate and it drops down to 2.5%, and you notice that that's just some of your domains are at a lower reply rate. You can switch in those underperforming domains with the reserve and then put those underperforming into a quarantine where they warm up for another 2 to 4 weeks, right? And so this is one of the biggest things that we use Claude for, is literally just managing the infrastructure properly, rotating and switching out and having reserve domains, looking at the reply rates and all that. And it's as simple as just doing a prompt saying, hey, here's my Instantly API key, pull all of the data on the domain level reply rates and make an easy front end dashboard. You could literally take that prompt, edit it a little bit, of course, with small little things, and on a free Supabase account to store the data, a free Vercel account to like host the front end dashboard, you can have that live pretty quick. You just need the $20 a month Cloud Code plan. Then for list building, we actually build a custom Google Map scraper, and that's huge. And then also just custom data scraping is huge. And so how we do this is we pull bulk Google Maps business contact information from like cheap APIs you can get on like Rapid API or Appify, and then we have a custom Python script that we use to scrape the websites of that bulk data, and then we pull the emails. And so if you want to go try to build that with Cloud Code, you can. It's quite simple to do as well. It might just take a bit of debugging and front end doing or whatever. But we also made a public Google Maps scraper that's still in beta, but you can test it out if you want. So I'll leave that in the description of this video, and you can get 500 leads for free. You can scrape up to like 300K leads per month for like $40 at this moment. It's probably going to increase in the future, but yeah, that's super great. So Google Maps data scraping has been huge for us, and we've been getting better reply rates there. I think there's just less people reaching out to the Google Maps leads rather than Apollo. I think it's a bit of a better database to reach out to. If you're looking for enterprise leads or more specific job titles or larger companies, Apollo might still be better. But for broad SMB data and just general contact information, Google Maps is great. And then, yeah, custom lead sources. If you have any custom directory or database that your leads publicly have their contact information on, you can easily scrape that with Claude Code, and those campaigns will do insane, as well as just simple AI enrichments. So it can be as simple as, with your Google Maps information, put into Claude and say Claude Fable or even Claude Sonnet, like whatever, and say look into the categories of each business and then create a custom niche offering to explain what they do, right? And so you may have a large list of consultants, and then that can give you the niche offering of, okay, it's a business consultant, a tax consultant, finance consultant, whatever specific thing, and then you can write custom scripts that are more relevant to the ICP. I've ran that campaign quite a few times, and that was getting us consistently above 5% reply rates just using that well. And then if you want to do it yourself, as I said, Rapid API, Appify, Claude Code, you can build some nice scrapers. For copywriting, I would never let Claude, rarely let Claude just write scripts on its own, right? Or pretty much never. What I do is I feed it our best 3 to 5 performing scripts and then have it build variations. So I'll give it a bunch of context. right? Like AI is not realistically not good at marketing. You need to give it context, and then it can be good at marketing. Okay, so it can analyze the data. But what I do is just feed it your 3 to 5 best performing scripts, and then whatever offer you're pitching, and have it build some variations just to help you brainstorm. But make sure the scripts are written by you, and then Fable 5 just adds some scale to just the different scripts, and then some variants too. So it can throw you like 10, 20 different angles, then you pick a couple and work with it on that. But I wouldn't let it just do all the copywriting itself. I have not really seen that perform too well before. And even if it does perform, you could probably write better scripts if you even have like a little bit of marketing knowledge. And then lead to booking might be the hugest thing here, which is a custom knowledge base. So, of course, we run outbound for clients. I have like an outbound agency where we run like high volume cold email for clients. And so for each client, we build a custom knowledge base, like per workspace we're running in instantly. And then we build it an AI setter around the offer and the ICP that we're targeting, right? And so, like if we're doing an ad offer to contractors, we'll build an AI setter with Claude, and in our knowledge base, it'll know that we're reaching out to only contractors, and that like the specific types of ads you're running, the different deals you're doing, or guarantees, or risk reversal, or whatever. And then whenever an interest reply comes in, within under 5 minutes, it's usually about 90 seconds, we get like that webhook trigger, and then it reads the knowledge base. It reads the reply templates of like the good scripts for different types of replies, and that sends an automated reply that's custom for every single lead within about 90 seconds. And then we push the phone number to Slack. So this is an amazing automation you can build very simply with Claude Code, or even like N8N or Make, whatever you want. You can even get like Claude Code or Claude to show you how to build it with N8N or Make. But it's very, very great. It just like makes lead to booking so much easier. And then also push the leads to the CRM, of course, which is a simple like API connection, and then start some automated interested follow-up subsequences. You can do this instantly. You can also, if you want to do like custom resources and stuff, which is the next thing, like custom lead magnets, you can create those with Claude and then just do it within your CRM or however you want to do that. But I think a really great thing to have Claude for lead to booking is filling in the gaps of where you kind of lose track of the leads. So like part of that is just having them in the CRM, but then also having Claude just constantly looking at the CRM, looking at the leads that say, hey, yeah, follow up in 30 days. Claude can be like, okay, and then just ping a little like a reminder in your calendar to follow up in 30 days. Just all those small gaps that take up a bunch of time for the SDRs or whoever's doing the sales development. It's really, really nice to have Claude managing that. I find it does a better job with just the tasks that you just have to remember or be quick to do. And it takes a lot of time and brain power off your plate, right? And yeah, those are the main 4 things that we do. Like each individually, of course, right? Like having Claude help you with copywriting, or maybe tracking your domain level reply rate won't do an insane amount. Of course, each of these things will do a little bit, but when you have them all together, right, domain level reply rate will lift your overall reply rate, like it just will. And then spending more on infrastructure as well will help you have an average higher reply rate. And if you think about, right, if you get from a 2% to 3% average reply rate, that's a 50% lift in the total leads generated, the total calls booked, total calls closed, right? Because it's just a 50% lift in the total amount of leads. And so that could be 50% extra revenue per month or per year. So if you're getting, if you're getting 30K a month in new revenue, just doing domain level reply rate tracking could lift it up by 50% to 45K a month in new revenue. So that's pretty great. And then Better Lists does get you more positive replies. I've found if you're targeting SMBs or broad market, do Google Maps data scraping or custom lead sources could also just increase the amount of volume that you can send to, which will significantly increase the amount of deals you can close and like leads you can get. And then better copy is of course good for conversion. I find this is just I wouldn't lean on AI too much for copywriting. This helps, of course, but this is definitely the least important of these 4. And then fast lead to booking is huge. It'll take so much time off your plate, and it will increase conversions as well, which is nice. It's like less time and better results, which is always a super great thing to have. And then yeah, if you do all this together, I mean, like it's just insane how much it lifts your outbound. If you're doing outbound right now and you don't have any of these, and you build out some of these systems, it's pretty huge the difference you get. And so, I mean, if you want help with this, I do consult calls. You can just book a call with me in the description below, and I can help you set this up or just fully implement a fresh system like this into your business. And that's if you're a B2B business, you know, doing around $1 million a year or more, all up to like 10 mil plus a year, and you're just looking to get maybe 20 plus extra calls per month. Happy to build a system like this for you. And yeah, if you're interested in that, just book a call. Or if you want to do it yourself, by all means, go ahead and do it. And you can even just DM me on X, and I can help you out with whatever. Send you my SOPs or some resources, some of my performing scripts. And there's that map scraper down below as well, where you can get 500 free leads, and then to buy the leads, it's like $30 for 100,000 or $40 for 300,000. Like, it's just insanely cheap. So I'd say go ahead and do that and subscribe.